Ay, wala pala eh.
Tara.
Okay. Um, Good morning, everyone. We're here to present our research on vehicle requirements. So our overview of our presentation is the bus sizes, turning radius, bus parking, bus maintenance. So in our bus sizes, we cover two types of buses in our presentation, in which we are both, in which in which are the common most um, buses in terminals since um, long distance terminal are connected to our city transport network and can be unimodal or multimodal terminals, and therefore are the passenger's perspective. Multimodal terminals are preferable and convenient for commute. So the first type of bus is the coach bus. The coach bus are designed for traveling longer distances, therefore is bigger in accommodation for the comfort of our passengers for long travels and bigger baggage storage as well. So the sizes for coach buses is 12 meters in length, 2.55 in width, 3.81 in height, and has a capacity of 44 to 49 passengers in seat. So our second bus we covered in this research is transit buses. It is used for short to medium distance trips and is typically part of a publicly scheduled bus service network. So it is designed to maximize capacity for rush hour demands. So our sizes for this bus in average is 11.95 meters in length, 2.55 meters in width, and 2.99 in height. And the capacity of these buses is 29 um, seats, and for standing room for 76. So we also covered two turning radius for terminal buses. So the first radius is 90 degrees. It is typically um, in a typically standard bus with 11.95 to 12 meters in length. The turning radius is 6.5 meters, and in in outer radius 11.58 to 12 meters, and in 180 degrees in a typical standard bus with 11.95 to 12.10 meters in length. The inner radius is 7.74 to 8.2 meters, and the outer radius is 12.10 to 13.70 meters. Next slide.
Good morning, everyone. So, for the bus parking, a typical bus or truck parking slot has a minimum width of 3.6 meters and a maximum width of 12 meters. For the parking requirements for a multimodal transport system, there should be one car slot for every 500 square meters. There is also a required loading space within the lot that can accommodate at least two queuing jeepneys or buses along the road since it's multimodal. Next slide, please. So here we have several sample parking configurations for the buses. So the first one we have inline parking. For this configuration, buses are parked end to end in rows, and least space is occupied, which is commonly used for inside parking or indoor parking. To reduce bus movement problems, since it's arranged end to end, there has to be at least three extra rows that is provided. One row for service cycling and another two for poor order parking. The second type of configuration, we have row parking. So this provides maximum flexibility but requires more space in comparison to inline parking. This requires wide aisles to negotiate a turn from aisles inside or into the stalls. For this type of configuration, there is no backing required unless there is a fence or other obstacles at the other end. So this is um, this requires bigger space in comparison to the other one. The third one, we have double row parking. Multiple row parking, so this is a multiple row parking type of configuration. This requires less space since the total area required for aisles is lowered by having two buses end to end in each row. Wide aisles are also required to allow turning into the stalls. Similar to the row parking, this requires backing for the buses since it's like a combination of the both. So inline parking and row parking. Okay, next slide, please.
Hello, wait, before you go, could you show where the front of the bus is?
For this one, sir. Wait. For the inline parking, sir, eh, it depends on the bus, sir. So if, for example, if you are on the right side of this one, then the front of the buses can be facing upward or downward. For the row parking, it depends on where the end, like for example, if there's a wall, sir. So if there's a wall on the left side, then the 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 front of the buses can either also face on the left or the right side. And also for the double row parking, since they are put together, so that means there are aisles on either side. So that also depends on how the buses decide to park, sir. If they do backing, so they face each other, or if they won't, then their backs would face each other, so sir. So it depends on the buses, sir.
Yeah,
So it's
so
either
what's the
left
difference sa
or right.
inline o sa double row? Like bus
Uh,
position wise. Is it inline mag front to front sila or is it akong imagine magud sa inline it's buses are parked like there's one bus facing up here sa kaning sa inline parking and then the behind it
mm,
is another bus facing the same direction. Is that what's
kuan,
happening sa
sir.
inline?
For inline parking, sir, since it's a vertical, sir, so it's like there's one way road on each side. So for example, sir, if one
Where's the
for the
parallel park?
yeah, for the kuan, sir, kanang murag one side faces like north and then the
Wait.
opposite side faces the
I think
south.
this will help our presentation a bit. Okay, Lisa to explain. Let me share my screen. This is just something
Mm,
important kaya I think malibog ang mga tao.
okay, sir.
Ako nalibog na po ko. So can you see my screen? Let's give it a minute. See, you can see my screen, right? And don't worry, I won't include this in your like time limit. Can you see my screen?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so are the bus parked like this? Sorry. This is the front. This is the like this. Is this what's happening here? Like that?
Yeah, sir. For one side,
Okay.
one direction, and then for the other side, it's also another direction,
So
depending
it
on
could be
the
like this.
circulation, sir. Yeah, sir.
Okay. So
Okay, there
arrows
are
would
roads
determine
on
the
either
screen.
side, one, sir.
Yeah. And then this one is like
Okay.
this.
Yeah, sir.
And then this one is like this.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Just wanted to clarify that. Kinalibog ko sa difference inline o sa double row. Okay, sorry. Go ahead.
Yes, sir.
I'll deduct the time on like your clock here.
Thank you, sir. Okay, so for the fourth type of parking configuration, we have here angled parking. So for this type of configuration, they are arranged in 45 or 60 degrees. The bus slots are arranged in 45 or 60 degrees. So they are somewhat better in maneuverability since no backing is required as buses may be pulled in and out of the parking stalls easily. So in comparison sa katong previous nga mga configurations kay they have to do backing because they are either horizontal or straight, but for this one they are more compatible with the flow, so it's easier for them to get in and out. For the fifth one, we have double angled row parking. So this is similar with the angled parking, but it is doubled, so mag back to back sila. So this offers, similar with the first one, good maneuverability since 45-degree parking requires less total aisle space than single row parking. a single stall is available at each end of the row. This requires backing to achieve maximum flexibility. So kani siya kay back to back. Similar ni siya sa previous one that we discussed, which is double row parking, but it's angled. This one, for the last one, we have herringbone parking. So it is also it is also arranged in a 45-degree configuration, which is similar to the previous two, but ang nakalahian niya is magkuan sila face to face. So it's like on top of each other, the arrangement. So when parking, there has to be an extreme caution because bumpers may hit each other kay magkuan sila ba mag possibility nga magbangga sila kay they are on top of each other. So if you choose this type of design, there has to be some kind of barrier sort of para dili sila mag hit each other. Next slide, please.
Oh, the next is the platform loading. Platform loading is an elevated platform where buses can be loaded and unloaded. The pictures shown are example of platform loading, where it is a combination of a parking space for the buses and the platform, which serve as a waiting space for the commuters. Then in platform loading, the size and the movement of the bus dictates the measurement of how the wide the roadway in bus terminal, the shape of the platform, the spacing between columns, the ceiling height, and the bus level design. So there are types of platform loading. So the first type is the parallel loading. The most common example of parallel loading in bus terminal are the parallel single lane island and steep parallel. The parallel single lane island has an elongated platform. In these pictures kay multiple siya na single lane island, and the in between will be the kanang buses, and the other one is the steep parallel na siya. It has a steep like kanang platform na it's parallel to the land of the buses. Um, generally, generally, the parallel loading requires large amount of space. Buses has to wait until after the first bus exits. Then, large terminal requires overpass or underpass pedestrian to protect the passengers from crossing the lane. So the next type of platform loading is the straight sawtooth loading. This type has two kinds based on the movement of the bus. The most common kanang design is the based on clockwise motion and counterclockwise motion. So in clockwise motion, kay the bus is coming here, going to its kanang parking space. So based from what I observed, kay the platform loading na parking space kay ang head sa bus kay mostly na-address sa padung sa platform. The purpose of it kay kanang para ang entrance sa bus kay mas closer sa kanang commuters. Then generally the straight sawtooth loading design is proven efficient where lot is comparatively narrow and deep. The passenger has direct approaches to the loading door and baggage truck can operate between buses for side loading. Oh, my the third type of platform loading is the radial sawtooth loading. This is another design for sawtooth, but the difference between is that it has a radial form to its platform and its parking space. So this type of platform loading is considered the most efficient of platform loading that requires a minimum front, and it has the wide space at the rear, this one, um, that permits for an easy maneuvering of the bus. And the last type will be the kanang um, right angle loading. This type of platform loading has kanang lot of disadvantages. Um, the common disadvantages of this platform loading is that it has a outswinging bus door that creates a barrier through which passenger must pass, and also the difficulty in maneuvering of the bus.
Last but definitely not the least is the bus maintenance facility. So we have two kinds, the inspection garage and the main maintenance facility. For the inspection garage, this is where the daily servicing of maintenance happens. This includes the brake adjustments and engine degreasing, tire work, minor body repairs and painting, engine dynamometer, unit rebuild, engine overhaul, and other repairs. As you can see in Exhibit 3.1, for a range of about 452 buses, we only need one inspection garage. So we can safely say or assume that for our project, for the Cebu North Bus Terminal, I think it does not exceed the 100 number of buses month. So we only need one inspection garage for our site. Moving on, the first layout for the inspection garage is the inline layout. In this layout, the inspection pits are parallel to the main terminal building. This has a narrow and a very long allocation of the space. The bus access is only from one end, both na ni siya for entrance and exit for all the buses. Although this layout can accommodate more than one bus, this needs to have a clearance between adjacent buses with no more than 900 mm to 1,200 mm or zero point 0.9 meters to 1.2 meters. Bus movement is often inconvenient for this layout too. For for the second one is the back-in slash pull-out layout. This allows for maximum flexibility in the movement of the buses. This has a 1:1 ratio of buses per entryway and exitway. This layout is perpendicular to the main terminal building. And for the third layout, we have here the drive-through and the double drive-through. This can serve both as an inspection garage and a heavy repair facility since this makes reasonable use of floor space. If you've noticed, the main terminal building is located on the sides. This plan allows the buses to have a different entrance from its exit going in and out of the inspection garage. So, open na siya from the entrance or exit. And if you want, if maganahan ka, if you want your entrance here sa kaning upper nga side, you can have your exit on the opposite side, so vice versa siya. For the next layout, we added the bus washing area. This can be either automated or manually done. If you choose to have automated bus washing area, you need to provide a space where you can install the washers and vacuum cleaners. You can also choose if you want it to be indoors or outdoors. And the next slide is just a comparison between the different parking layouts for the inspection garage and how you can choose having in mind the limitations of the site. So, kanang more ni siya guys ang makita nimo imuhang ma-compare sa kanang number of floor space or number of area nga imuhang ikuan per the chosen layout nga imuhang gusto. So the next one, finally, the second type or kind of facility is the main maintenance facility. These are the infrequent and major repairs. So you can opt for the main maintenance facility to be located at a unique site or be co-located on our site together with the inspection garage. These functions often require specialized equipment and skills. So the main maintenance facility includes heavy repairs, engine overhauls, unit rebuilds, major body repairs, upholstery, route sign preparation, bus stop signs, breaker lining, brake drum turnings, and radiator repairs. We couldn't find any specific dimensions for each space here, but on the right side, we provided the percentage of the space allocations for the main maintenance facility na lang. So in conclusion, you can choose to have either the inspection garage only or have a main maintenance facility together with your inspection garage. And also, sir, and I would also like to add na as a commuter sa North Bus Terminal, I noticed yun that they really have a different place good for their main maintenance facility. And I think this is because the main maintenance facility really needs a big area in order to accommodate a big number of buses that needs major repairs all at once, and having a limited square area kaya lisod gyud ibutang tanan sa isa ra ka location. So I think, and can I dare say na lang sad, that I would recommend to have the inspection garage na lang on site. And finally, we have the other additional maintenance facility to consider sad in our design. So Maria?
So we have four other bus maintenance facilities. So for the first one, we have facility exhaust system. This is preferable if ever your maintenance facility is indoor type. This one removes fumes from the bus storage and servicing areas para ang air circulation niya kay dili siya toxic completely kay naa siya exhaust system. Next, we have floor drainage system. So within the bus maintenance facilities, there also has to be a drainage system for every area since uh, in case na spillage or for especially sa washing areas for washing the cars to make sure that the water does not flood there. So you can have it in the steam clean bays, repair bays, and the machine shops. For the third one, we have site drainage systems. So this facility kay usually malimtan gay siya most of the time kay for the entire site mas nice jud siya if there's a site drainage system kay for example for the maintenance facility sometimes na ay mga toxic materials there or kanang hazardous nga fluids ba like the oils and stuff. So if ma-spill na siya, there has to be a special or a specific type of drainage system for that type of material. And then for the fourth one, we have other fluid storage. So if you want your bus maintenance facility to have backup storage for other fluids such as engine oils, automated transmission fluid, and grease. Okay, these are also used for repairs also. So important po na siya to allocate a space for other fluid storage. And
Okay, good.
that would be all, sir. Thank you.
Okay, before you go, don't close the slide yet. Some questions over here. So, ato ta balik sa turning radius, whoever was at the turning radius na part. Okay, here. So just to note for everyone, this is also part of the recording, that's 6.5 meters inner radius. So that's B, di ba? Ang inner radius.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Yes, and then on the outer radius, that's A. So about 11.58 to 12 meters. So that's for 90 degrees, and there's also a 180 degrees. And then you have another sort of set of dimensions over here. Minimum design turning radius is 45. Oh, this is in feet. That's why it's different. 45 feet, and then 27.6 feet for inside turning radius. Okay. So note lang, Nisha, please apply this in your designs. I will be double checking your schematics. Also like be drawing on my end as well to like check. And then the other one is on the maintenance facilities. So yeah, I think you need a lot of space for these maintenance facilities. So for our specific project in our class, I'm thinking we won't do major repairs, so it won't be as big. And then maybe like inspection lang, like making sure that the tires are in good condition, the engine is in good condition, and then for like really big repairs, they'll go somewhere kanang off-site. So I'm thinking, based on like the research here, I also do some on my own later, and maybe because we have 20 bus estimated like 20 buses maximum for our bus terminal. So maybe you could have like a maintenance facility good for 5. This one is a bit big, like it's like hovering at what do you call this? Like 50 buses, like range to 10 to 452. Is that it? Kind of on the table.
Yes, sir.
Range 10 to 452 buses per garage. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, because that's a broken line there. Okay, and then the fleet size is the total bus And you can see that our total buses doesn't even reach 100. So I'm thinking the bus maintenance could be anywhere between 2 buses to 5 buses at one time. And next slide, please. Okay, so you have like different setups. Oh, the next slide again. The one with the next there. So configuration inline seems to have like the most buses like in one sort of sitting row, and then the least one is parallel sort of setup. So try to, I think we'll do inline because like it's the least it requires the least amount of space. Just make sure the entrance and exits like flow properly in your like schematic design. So just like the most important thing for our next step here is to make sure that the buses enter and exit properly, and then we also separate the pedestrian movement. Okay, so I think this was a very good presentation. We are like 50, I think about 40 minutes in. Oano had 6 minutes. Montalban had around 5 minutes. Ferrer had a total of about 6 minutes as well. Mondares had about 7 minutes. So very good. Almost an even distribution of presentation time. So very good for that. Any questions from the group?